Recording in.
Okay, we are ready to go. So welcome everyone to this session on how to leave negative thoughts and negative self-narrative behind for good. And when I say for good is because for those of you who don't know me, I am a mindset coach and energy healer. And the main part of what I do is help people reclaim their power so they can create the life they truly want to live. And when we have a lot of negative thoughts going on, it's very difficult to step into our power and to really be in our power, right? But if you know anything about me, if you have come to some of my sessions, yeah, I'm recording this, Caroline, so you may be able to listen to it later. So yeah, best of luck. Sending really good vibes. So you can be very difficult to step into our power and to being in a position of being in control of our life and creating the life we want to. We really desire, that our heart desires, where we have all this negative self-talk and all this self-narrative behind. So if you have been to some of my sessions, you know that I'm all about the deep healing. You know that I'm not about, yeah, let's do some positive thinking, let's do some affirmations. That's great, and we're going to talk about it in the session as well. But you know that I'm always about doing the deep healing and going to the root of whatever we want to overcome. And that's what we're going to do today. So, because probably it's happened to you. Let me know if this has happened to you. You have a bad day and you're feeling really, really bad and let down or frustrated or angry or whatever. And you speak to someone, you speak to your mom, you speak to your friends, and they tell you something like, oh, you're so negative. You should try positive thinking. You should try to be more positive and think positively. And you're like, yeah, don't you think I have tried already? Do you think that I enjoy having all these negative thoughts and the self-narrative? Do you think this is something that I enjoy? No, right? We don't enjoy this. We don't do it on purpose, do we? But let me tell you something. The reason why you can't stop those negative thoughts or they keep coming back is because you're trying to stop them. Now, bear with me for a second, because I know that this might sound a bit weird. But what you fight, what you try to stop, only grows stronger. It's like when a kid is on a tantrum and screaming, and what happens if you tell them to stop screaming? And if you scream back at them, say, just stop, just shut up, what do? They shout even louder, they scream even louder. And that's why maybe affirmations, trying the whole positive thinking, visualizations works for a bit. And maybe you have tried it and it's like, oh yeah, cool, this is working. I'm in a much better state now. Maybe you've tried, some visualizations, gratitude. And I talk about this and it's useful. There is a place for this. I'm not saying that there's something wrong with it, but it works for a little bit. And then as soon as you stop paying attention, the next week, the negative thoughts are back. And they come back even stronger. Why? Because you just try to stop them or suppress them for a little while. But the thing is that by trying to fight them, you're giving them more strength. But the thing is that those negative thoughts are not random. They don't happen just randomly. Negative thoughts are not just walking around and they decide to, I'm going to bother Verónica for a little bit. Me, random thought, I'm not good enough. You're never going to make it. You're always going to be poor. You're not good at, all these things. No, they're not. They're not just a random thing that jumps in your life. All these negative thoughts, the negative self-talk, the narrative, the stories we tell ourselves are there for a reason. So if instead of trying to fight them and repress them, ignore them, or getting annoyed at them and scream at them even louder, if you give them space and if you listen to them, and first of all, you approach this from a place of compassion, kindness, and love to yourself, that's already a shift on its own. But then from that place of acceptance, curiosity, kindness to yourself, if you start listening to these thoughts and you try to understand the root of them and where they're coming from, That's when the magic happens, because then you're not just putting a patch on them. You're not fighting them. It doesn't become a battle anymore. You become allies. So if you give them space and you try to understand the root of it, because any negative thought that has ever crossed your mind is there for a reason, and it's based on something you have experienced before, a decision you have made about yourself, about life, about others, something you experienced, a painful situation, fear, lack of trust, anger, resentment, you name it. So it's based on an earlier decision. So it's only by going to the root of it, understanding where it's coming from, and resolving that experience and resolving that situation, that the magic happens. And then those thoughts, instead of wanting to come back stronger and stronger and stronger, you're not just putting a patch on them, you are resolving them. And that's where the magic happens. That's when true transformation happens. And this is what I'm going to be covering in this talk in more detail. A step-by-step process. How do you go about it? Because this sounds simple. It is simple, really. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. It's not something really complicated, but it's not easy. I know it's not easy. So that's what we're going to be exploring further in today's session. How do we go about these negative thoughts? How to get to the root of it? And once we get to the root of it, how to go about it? So the first step, like I said, is coming from a place of self-love, acceptance. I was going to say abundance because the last week I was giving lots of talks on abundance. So abundance is also a very good place to be, but acceptance, self-love, kindness, compassion, like you would treat a little child, like you would treat your son, your daughter, your niece, your friend's baby, your pet. Like you would treat someone you really, really love and that you care about, with love and compassion and acceptance. If you have come to any of my tapping sessions, emotional freedom technique sessions, when we tap on certain points, certain meridians, as we state something that we want to clear, a limiting belief and an emotion that we haven't processed, the sensation, you know that the first thing we do as we tap on the very first point, the side of the hand, is even though, blah, 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 even though I have this problem, X, Y, Z, I love and accept myself anyway. That's always how we start with tapping, with emotional freedom technique. And the reason why we do this is because if we come from a place of judgment, healing can't happen. It's only by becoming an observer and not reacting to whatever's going on for you, and observing with kindness, with curiosity, without judgment. Judgment kills it all. There can't be healing when there is judgment. So that's the very, 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 very first step. Stop fighting your negative thoughts. You're not at war with them. You're all part of the same wonderful being. They're all part of you. It's just the different parts of you carry different qualities, different experiences. And some parts of you hold enormous wisdom and power and confidence and talents. Other parts of you might carry some wounds, some negative experiences, some programs that we download as we grow up. And that can be based on our parenting, how we grow up, our family, but also society, culture, religion, different countries, nationalities, collective norms, rules, beliefs. When we are little, when we are between, so up to 6-7 years old, we are like a sponge. We are literally in downloading mode, but receiving mode, but we are downloading all those beliefs without even having a chance to decide if they're right for us, if we agree with them or not. And then different experiences in life, different painful situations, more or less traumatic. It can be something really traumatic. We can think of, a situation of having been abused for many years, or being bullied for many years, or being neglected for many years. But also other experiences that are not as traumatic or wouldn't be considered as traumatic can leave a big imprint on how we think about ourselves, what we think, what we believe about ourselves, about others, about the world. So once you stop fighting those parts of yourself and you stop fighting those thoughts and you realize that they're all part of the same wonderful being you are, then that's a game changer on its own, because you're not at war with yourself anymore. Because normally what happens is that we have different parts that have their own interests or their own agenda, right? So there's always a part that is kind of wounded or scared, you know, wanting to protect you from whatever you're trying to do. Very often there is a part that is critical, right? Very critical, very judgmental. You're never good enough. You know, it's never enough, no matter what you do. There's always going to be that critical part. And then there's always that other part that doesn't believe that this is going to work for you. The skeptical part that is like, another talk, another tapping session, another healing modality. It's not going to work for you. There's no hope. There's no hope. But there are also those parts of you that are like, I would love to start my own business. I really want to quit this job, or I really want to go for this other job that is going to give me a promotion or a bigger salary. I really want to have a lovely relationship. I just want to travel the world. I want to dance. I want to join that dance group. I don't care if I'm 60. I just want to dance. You know, so when they have different agendas and they think that they are separated from each other, then yeah, because they have different agendas, they fight each other. You want to start your own business, you're crazy, you're not smart enough for that, it's never going to work for you, it's not safe. And then the other part is like, yeah, but I really want to do it. And then you try, and you might find that you try really hard, and that's when we hit certain blocks or patterns that repeat again and again. They might go away for a little bit, doing some affirmations, some positive thinking, some I don't know, maybe a bit of coaching. You read a self-development book and it's like, oh yeah, this is what I need to try. And yeah, you might cope with it for a little. It's kind of like management, maintenance management. You learn to cope with it. Or even meditation. You know, meditation is wonderful. Great. I recommend everyone meditates every day, at least 5 minutes, even if it's just 5 minutes. It's great to calm the mind, to come to the present moment, and to learn how to not be controlled by the negative thoughts or these parts of ourselves, to become aware of them, to still be in our power, becoming aware of what's happening. But sometimes it can happen to people who meditate for hours every day. It's like, okay, very well, you meditated for 5 hours today, fantastic, but what have you resolved that? So that's a great tool for management, that's a great tool for well-being. But as soon as you stop doing that, the root of the negative thought is going to still be there. So the key is about diving deep into the origin and why it's there in the first place. Because like I said, they're not random. They're not random. Every single negative thought that has ever crossed my mind is mine, and it's mine for a reason. And it comes from different parts of me. But it doesn't happen randomly. It's not just a negative thought with independent capacity to decide that I am the person that this negative thought wants to bother or ruin their day, right? So first things first, come from a place of acceptance. All of those parts of yourself, all of those thoughts, they're all part of you, the wonderful being you are. And the thing is, like, same as when a kid is screaming, is asking for something, and if you tell them to stop, they won't, because they don't have what they want. And if you tell the critical part in you, the scared part of you, the wounded part of you, the skeptical part of you, if you just tell them to shut up, they won't. They're only going to scream louder, because what they're trying to do by saying all this, you're not good enough, who do you think you are, that's never going to happen for someone like you, you're not lovable, you don't deserve it, all this list of common negative thoughts that a lot of us experience or have experienced at some point, right? And they're going to keep coming back unless, if you tell them to shut up, they won't. Because what they're trying to do is tell you that there's something wrong. They're trying to tell you, hey, I need your attention. Listen to me. Help me. It's just that they manifest in this form of kind of like annoying, critical thoughts. So yeah, I understand that they're not very likable at the beginning. I get that. But all they're trying to do is get your attention and to get whatever they experienced resolved. So by trying to tell them to shut up or to go away, they're only going to come back stronger because they're not having resolution. And because they're not achieving that resolution, they're never going to go away. They're going to be like, all right, okay, she's ignored me again today for the 30th time. So I'll come back next week, even stronger, even louder. So whenever a negative thought, the negative self-narrative or limiting, stories that we tell ourselves kicks in, like I said, from a place of self-love and acceptance, no judgment. You're just an observer, detached from any outcome, anything that might happen. Just approach them with curiosity. Have a chat with them. Ask them why they believe that you're not good enough, that you're not lovable, that you're not going to be able to run your own business, that wealth doesn't happen for people like you, but no matter what you do, it's never going to be enough, that your priorities are not important. Ask them why. Ask them when they learned that. When did they make that decision? And here I'm going to invite you, we're not going to go on a deep meditation or healing session today, because anyway, this would require a bit of, a personalized approach with everyone, because we're all different. We have different thoughts and they will take us to different places. But what I'm going to invite you to do is, first of all, shift the energy from judgment to love and acceptance. And this is funny because there might be a part of you saying, self-love, bollocks. Why would you love yourself? What have you done to deserve it? Great. So that's the part you need to talk to. That's the part you need to talk to then. And I have a whole course on self-love because I know that this is so important. Self-love is so important when it comes to healing. Without self-love, without acceptance, there's no healing. It can't happen. So if anyone feels the self-love is their thing, go check out that course, which will take you through this process in much more detail. So first of all, shift your energy and see if you can change your approach, at least for today. Maybe tell that part of you that is not on board, just for today, just for this evening, just for this workshop, just for this session, 20 more minutes or so. And then come back to it. And then from that place of love and acceptance and curiosity, just observe any thoughts, anything that might have come up for you so far within the session. And if you know tapping, you can tap as you hear me talk, because I'm going to be saying some common blocks, limiting beliefs, negative thoughts. So that's going to help if you know how to do it. But just approach them with curiosity and just see what comes up to your awareness. It might be a very clear thought. It might be a part of yourself. It might be a part of yourself that looks like a younger you. It might be a part of yourself that looks a lot like your mom or like your dad. It might be a sensation in the body, discomfort, tension, right? Whatever's coming up for you that you're like, this is not serving me. This is clearly not supporting the vision I want to create, the dream life I want to create. And just give them space. See if you can just be with them, sit with them with love and acceptance. Thank you, Lorette. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, just sit with them with curiosity. Like you would approach, I don't know, a foreigner from a country you didn't even know it existed, that speaks a different language and, wears different clothes. And you're like, where are you from? Oh, what language do you speak? What do you do in your country? What do you do for a living? What is it like? What is culture in your, what's the weather like in your country? You know, curiosity, and see what comes up. And then when you get a bit comfortable with that, pick one. Sometimes we have good old friends, those thoughts to repeat again and again and again. Those pearls. Oh, you're not good enough. Doesn't matter what you do, it's never going to be enough. That's not happen for people like you. That's never going to work for you. Sometimes something new might come up in one of these sessions, sometimes by hearing, you know, what I'm saying or reading what someone else has said in the chat, or a lot of work I do is working with the subconscious mind to really understand the blocks, the hidden blocks. Those are where the magic happens, because the good old friends, they've been with us for a long time and we're aware of them. But sometimes the ones who really run the show are the ones hidden really deep into the subconscious mind. So yeah, and I also have another course which is called Step into Your Power with Confidence and Joy. It's also here inside Timer. And that one again is going to take you through a process of designing your vision, your dream life, and identifying any hidden resistance, any hidden blocks. But for now, we're going to work with whatever is coming up to your awareness. So choose one. Oh, thank you, Lorette, for your generous donation. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you. I'm going to take a break here to thank you guys for your continued support and your ratings, your reviews on the platform, your messages, your kind words, your donations, all much appreciated. And I really love this community, and yeah, know that you guys are loved and much appreciated, and give me so much motivation to keep going and to keep showing up. Anyway, don't let me blah, blah, blah too much. Choose one thought, sensation, part of yourself, and have a chat with them. And you can close your eyes and do this as a visualization in the work I do. Oh, Loretta saying I really needed to hear your message today. Well, I hope that if you needed to hear the message, or anyone else who needed to hear the message, I hope that it's landing. It's sent with much love, that's for sure. So yeah, happy to hear that. So have a chat with that part of yourself, with that negative thought. And yeah, a lot of the work I do in my courses here, you will see, but also when I do my one-on-one sessions, when I'm working one-on-one with someone, in my sessions, I use a lot of visualizations, because imagery is the language of the subconscious mind. So when we are visualizing something, when we're seeing the images, the colors, the subconscious mind, the brain is reprogramming itself. It's experiencing something different. And sometimes just the fact that you're going to have a chat with that part of yourself, and you're going to give them some space and some attention, sometimes on its own, that's already healing. That's already, and I hear it again and again, session after session. Oh my God, she just feels so much better because I'm here, and she's having some acceptance, some reassurance. She's not alone anymore. She's understood. You know, so don't underestimate the power of having that internal dialogue. You can do it through visualization, like I said, but obviously I'm talking all the time, so it's probably not going to be the best space to do this. But I'm just sharing the process and the ideas here. But you might want to try for a little bit and see what happens. You can journal. You can use some pen and paper. And maybe even take turns. Now this is me talking. Now this is my other part of myself talking, or this is what this part of myself would say to me. So be creative here. There's no right or wrong. It's what works better for you. For me, in my experience, visualization works really, really, really well. It's very effective. Like I said, it goes deep into the subconscious mind. So yeah, but you might want to try that. Giving plenty of time to yourself, not just here quickly going like, right, okay, yeah, it looks like it's a younger me. Yeah, she sounds scared, you know. Give them plenty of time. the time they deserve, the time you deserve, right? And once you have a chat with them, ask them what they need. What are they going through? What is missing for them? What do they need to change their mind about not being good enough, about not being smart enough, about having to please everyone, about the world not being safe? What do they need to change their mind? What do they need to believe something different? And here, you might see that you have a wonderful conversation with a part of yourself and a wonderful journey. And I love doing this because, taking my clients on these journeys, because you never know what's going to happen. Every session is different. And, if I talk to every single one of you, you will be in different places, different things going on for you, different beliefs, different thoughts, right? We're all unique. We have all different experiences. But the common denominator is that love, acceptance, giving them reassurance, the attention they didn't have, letting them know, just providing a safe space for them, letting them know that that's over, that they're safe now, that they can move on. Love, acceptance, reassurance, safety. I'm missing one that I want to say. It will come back to me. Are very, 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 very common. Very, very common things they need. Compassion, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very often, just with that, if you can provide that to that part of yourself, that will be healing on its own. Very, very often, those are the words I hear. She just needs a bit of love. She feels understood now. Listen to. Oh, that's another key one. Being seen, being heard. Oh, she feels like someone understands what she's going through. Someone knows that, someone understands, someone is looking at me, someone is hearing me. That's another big one. So regardless of the thought, the story, what happened, who was involved, those elements, very, very common. If you just stick to that, that can be healing on its own already. But without expectations, let them take you on a deep dialogue, on a deep journey. Right? What do you need? I don't know. I want to tell those kids who bullied me at school that they're a piece of crap and that I didn't deserve what they did to me and they're horrible people. Right? Okay, go and tell them. Let's place a blanket of security, of safety around you, that is safe. Because when you're doing that through visualization, and this is very, very important. It's not about regression as in you are going back in time and you are becoming that part of you. You are stepping into it like you were watching a movie or like a theater play in this case, because you're going to be interacting with different characters, but you're not becoming that younger you. You're not reliving the trauma. And this is very important. This is an addition to tapping an emotional freedom technique, which is called matrix reimprinting, which has become one of my favorite ever healing disciplines. And it's all about this. And it's about going into the field and talk to that part of ourselves. But we are not becoming that part of ourselves. We are not re-experiencing the trauma. We are neutral. We're just observers, and we step there and we're having a conversation. We're having a chat and we're interacting with these characters. So in the field, we can do anything. We can give our younger us, and our younger us can be 3 years old, or they could be 70, because maybe it's something that happened 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So it's not always, it is similar to inner child, but it's not inner child because it's not always about what happened in childhood. Although more often than not, if there is a really rooted belief, a really core belief, it's probably going to take you to some early years of your life. But it's it's not necessarily the case. It could be something that happened last month that you didn't process properly, that is still kind of like bottled up. And you just travel, 3 days to the past. And then you let them take in a journey. And yeah, they can, they might want to speak to those kids who bullied them. They might want to have a conversation with mom and dad. They might want to, I don't know, they might just need a good session of crying, or, of releasing that. They might want some healing energy. Here is when we are some tapping or sending healing energy and all this. Maybe they just need to process it, whatever they're going through. Maybe they just need to see things with a different perspective. Maybe all they need is have a conversation with adult you and understand that whatever happened to them was not their fault and it had nothing to do with them. That's another big one. It was not your fault. It had nothing to do with you. And sometimes that's more than enough. That's a very good question, Lorette. If it is recurring, will tapping help to process it versus repressing? So imagine, I don't know, imagine I get very nervous before I start these sessions and these workshops. And I have, I feel like a big block in my stomach and my hands sweat and, and I have a really hard time, really, really hard time. If I do tapping, I'm clearing those blocks. So whatever, because if I'm experiencing the sweaty hands and the fear and the stomach in the block, at some point there is energy that is not flowing properly in my body. And that's why, when energy is flowing properly, you're like floating, right? And at peace and at ease, and you have a smile on your face. But when something happens that disrupts that flow of energy, then we become agitated and fear happens, negative thoughts happen, illness, physical symptoms happen in the body. So with tapping, we can go really deep into clearing those energetic blocks, because with tapping, we are not rationalizing what happened. We're not thinking from the conscious mind. That's not enough. Sometimes it can work, a bit of kind of like behavioral therapy or coaching, goal setting, things like that. It can work. But if there is something deep with tapping, you are clearing it energetically. You're not engaging with it just consciously. You're clearing it energetically. So some issues will clear permanently just with tapping. And with tapping, there is a technique that is called the movie technique, where we track, whatever emotion is being present now. So for example, I have sweaty hands, a ball in my stomach. I'm really, really scared. I'm really, really nervous. And we will be tracking, when have I experienced this before? When have I experienced these sweaty hands and this ball in the stomach and this fear before? And that's going to take me somewhere. Who knows? It might take me to, I don't know, a time when I was about to perform and I fell down and everyone laughed at me. It could be, I don't know, that my parents were very strict with me, and if I didn't pass the exams, they would treat me badly or even abuse me, and then I get this bad reaction. So with the movie technique, we go back to those memories, and as we kind of process, it's called movie technique because it's like you're playing a movie. You're describing the movie, and if any emotional intensity comes up, then you stop and do some tapping and clearing it. So you're going already back to the root of it. You're not just tapping on the block in my stomach, okay, the block in my stomach, the sweaty hands. And that might help the energy flow again, and that might help me feel a bit better. But maybe 2 weeks later, when I'm about to do another talk like this, or a workshop or a performance, it's going to come back. So when you use tapping with the moving technique and you go back to the root of it, then that's another layer of healing. So tapping with the present symptom, reaction, emotion is like a first layer of healing. If you take it back to the root of it, it's a much deeper layer of healing. Now, the reason why matrix reimprinting was created is because I think in a session, Carl Dawson, who was the person who, an amazing teacher, an amazing therapist, incredible person, who added matrix imprinting to tapping, is because I think he was in a session and he asked the client, can you see in the movie, can you see that part of yourself? And the client said, yeah, I see her so clearly that I could tap on her, that I could step and tap on her. He was like, oh, let me see what that is about. So then it became like a further layer of healing where you actually go to that thing and you're not only doing the tapping, but you're rewriting the whole story. So you're not just tapping, clearing the intensity, but you are literally creating a different set of beliefs. You are creating a different experience for your echo, which is how he calls them, from energetic consciousness holograms. Because the idea is that memory is not something that we store internally, it's in the field. So it's like kind of like a hologram part of ourselves. And that's why when we are in the field, anything is possible, and we can give those parts of ourselves a complete different story. So that's like the deepest layer of that's, I see it as complete resolution, really. Like that's probably one of the deepest forms of healing that you can achieve. Go back to that moment in time and rewriting the story, giving your echo, your younger self, a different experience, the resources they need to change their mind. And then when you get to that positive state and those positive beliefs, and they're like, yeah, right, I feel empowered now. Yeah, I see things with a complete different perspective. Not my fault anymore. Not going to sabotage myself anymore. I don't need this fear. I don't need this to protect me. You know, that's when magic happens. So I don't know if that answered your questions, but that will be like the process and how I say it. His name is Carl Dawson. I'm going to try to tap it in the chat here. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, amazing, truly amazing person. And I'm training many different disciplines, like shamanic energy healing and theta healing, counseling, coaching, breath work at the moment. And yeah, I always come back. This is one of my favorite ever techniques. I always come back to it because of the simplicity of the process, but the power of it. And a lot of people ask me, but what if it's from a previous lifetime? You know, and like, what if it's something like from my ancestors, or more like a spiritual, you know, or something is the same. It's the same process. So whether you believe in past lifetimes or not, sometimes might come to you like, feels like, I don't know, like there is a part of me that doesn't feel like me, that feels like old, or, you know, like from a different time or from a different country. It will be the same process. I use exactly the same process. When we track, right, so where was the first time? Tell me times where you experienced this block, whatever sensation is going on. Sometimes it might be, like I said, 2 months ago. Sometimes it might be when you were 3 years old. But sometimes it could be in the 13th century. I'm suddenly back in South America and I'm a shaman. I'm a Taoist master. I'm just someone in the Middle Age in England. I don't know, I'm a gypsy in Spain. I don't know, whatever it is. Because we need to be a bit careful with this whole past life thing, because it's always a bit of, like if you go to someone who tells you that has a vision or that can see the past, like it's always something very fancy. And it doesn't necessarily, it doesn't need to be fancy. I think there's a bit of an ego thing in there. And sometimes you think, oh yeah, it's, you know, I can't start my own business because I was a priestess in a previous lifetime, and yeah, I was persecuted, and it's never going to work for me. You're just changing your story. You're just changing from, I didn't get good marks at school and my teacher bullied me, to I was a priestess, and you know, the story is the same. You made it a bit fancier with the whole priestess, shaman, whatever, but the story, the belief is the same. So for me, it doesn't make any difference if it comes, from 5 minutes ago or 5,000 years ago. The process is the same. It's about resolution. It's about achieving that resolution for that echo. So once you have that, it's called matrix reimprinting, because once you achieve that positive state and you have rewritten your story and you now have that new positive belief, positive emotions, then we bring it, as an image, we bring it to the top of the head, down through the body, all the way back up to the heart. And that's the new signal that you're sending. And here is when the law of attraction happens. And the affirmations and the gratitude and the visualizing, this is how the law of attraction and manifesting happens. When you have done the deep work first, because it doesn't matter how many visualizations you do, how many positive affirmations you do, how many subliminals you listen to while you sleep. If there is a subconscious belief, if there is a part of you that holds trauma, that holds fear, that holds, an unprocessed experience, it's never going to work. They're not in resonance. So they're going to be like opposite forces. You're going to waste so much energy doing those visualizations and those affirmations, because they're going to be working. They do their job. They're good. But then there's going to be that other part that is that opposite force that is taking away from it. So if you do the work of resolving the early experience and reprogramming the subconscious mind, and then you become aligned with your vision, the vision you want to create, the life you want to create, that's when manifesting happens like this. And when the law of attraction really works. Because for the visualizations and the vision boards and the affirmations to work, all parts of you need to be in alignment, and they need to be on board with that vision. And if there is a part of you that is not on board with that vision, that's when self-sabotage happens. And then you keep trying and you sit there in meditation, like really visualizing and feeling very grateful for that life. And 1 week later, 1 month later, 1 year later, the bank account is still empty. Another breakup, another painful breakup, another promotion that is not given to you, another argument with your friends. And these things keep repeating. Apply a new meaning to the old hurt belief. Right, you're on it today. You're really on it with your questions. So thank you so much, because this is giving me really good prompts to go deeper into this. Thank you so much. The thing is that it's all about reframing the belief. And what is key here is the purpose of the belief. Whatever belief, whatever the old belief was, again, was not random. And very, very often, if not all the time, the purpose of a limiting belief is to protect yourself. So a key thing is to understand, right, okay, so what is this limiting belief protecting me from? Because they have a purpose. They have a purpose. They're not just annoying things we come up with. They're not. They have a purpose. It's just that at some point, they might become limiting. We don't need them anymore. At some point, maybe the belief that the world is not safe protected you from, to keep to stay quiet, so the kids wouldn't bully you, so dad wouldn't get angry when he came back home after having a few drinks. That belief, the world is not safe, was helping you survive. It had a purpose. It's just that maybe 30, 40, 80 years later, when you go around and you can't sleep at night because deep inside there is a part of you that thinks that you need to be super alert because anything might go wrong at any moment, that becomes a bit limiting. And then it's about reframing the belief. And then it's about talking to the part of yourself. This is just an example. I'm not saying that this is yours, but the process would apply to any belief. So it's about talking to that part of yourself and saying, okay, my love, you decided that the world is not a safe place. But what if I told you that those you're on it too. We're on it tonight. We are really on it. I'm loving this session. So what if I told you that that these circumstances are not going to last forever? What if I told you that, you know, whatever this kid did or that did or mom did or what happened to you, what if I told you they has nothing to do with you? What if I told you that it's never going to be like this? And let me show you. You can give them a glimpse. Sometimes you can give them a glimpse of, you know, of something positive that happened in your life. See, we are safe. We have a beautiful house now, or maybe you're married, or, you know, you have a beautiful relationship with your parents, or, you know, you're stable. You can give them a glimpse of that. So it's never going to be the same. It's not always going to be like this. And we don't need this belief anymore. What if I told you that no matter what happens, you have all the resources to deal with it? And if you relax and if you trust, something might happen. We can't promise. It's not about changing. It's not about denying what happened. It's not about lying to them. When you know that the world, you know, you can't promise that everything is going to be all positive and joyful from now on, because life is life and life happens, right? So, but maybe it's about reframing into, look at all the resources you have. It is okay to relax, and if something happens, you will know how to deal with it. Very often when we are scared, it's because deep inside we don't believe that we have the resources to deal with anything that might come our way. As soon as we shift our energy into self-belief and knowing that we have all the resources we need, and we do. And the proof, if you don't believe me, is that you're here today. That whatever you've been through, you've survived. And you might be thinking, but I'm not my best. Well, it's okay, but you're here. Jay saying that resources line of thought has really helped me. I don't know exactly what you mean by the resources line of, is that what I'm saying about having the, like, letting them know that, or believing that you have the resources? Hello, Tom, welcome. Oh, yes, okay, yeah. It's all about resources. It's all about resources. It's not all about resources, it's about believing that you have the resources, and you have them. Like I said, the proof is that you're still here. You managed. Whatever you've been through, you're here today, listening to this session, wanting to do more work, wanting to do more healing, wanting to improve yourself. Well done, you. You're so brave. Is it about questioning them, questioning the beliefs? It's about challenging them, not questioning, because so not from a place of judgment, as in, because sometimes this happens that I'm working with someone and they go to that part of it, and there is another part that comes in, and they're like, you're just actually, let me tell you my example, because this happened to me when I was doing a session. And I remember that I was trying to do some healing. I can't remember even what it was about, but some healing with my inner child at some point. Something about when my parents got divorced, and when I was 5 or so. And there was a part of me that was like, I'm sick of this talk. I'm sick of you crying around and keep coming back with this, oh, my parents got divorced, you know, get over it. So we had to have a conversation with that part of myself first, of course. So obviously, if we had let that part of myself take over, it would have been even more traumatizing for that other part of me. So it's not about questioning, asking, what's wrong with you? Why did you make that belief? Because what we do, the decisions we make, our actions, our behaviors, the beliefs we make are the best we can do with the resources we had at the time. And I work with a lot of clients that say, yeah, but I should have done something else. I should have tell those kids to stop. I should have got divorced earlier. I should have, set boundaries. Yeah, but what you were doing back then was your absolute best with the resources you had at the moment, with the resources and the circumstances that you were going through. So again, with love and acceptance and understanding, but it is about challenging those beliefs a little bit and challenging that part of yourself. Okay, right. So how can you protect yourself? How can you feel that we are really protected and safe without having to sabotage starting my business or applying for that promotion or dating this guy that I really fancy or joining this dance class that I've never done before? So there is a bit of challenging, as long as it comes from curiosity, understanding, and helping them. It's like trying to convince a friend, and or trying to not convince, I think push like a different belief or something like that. When you're doing that work, it's all about, like, when I'm doing that work in a session, I am talking to the client, obviously, but I'm always saying, ask him, the little you. I don't know what I need, but ask her. It's not what you need today. Ask her what they need. So it's about having that conversation. Maybe I would say, all right, okay. Oh, she says that she would like to have that reassurance from me. Great, give it to her. Have a chat with us. Spend some time together. Have that dialogue. Let me know if you need me. And it's about having that that integration, that dialogue. Let her know that it wasn't her fault. Tell her that she was just a kid and that it had nothing to do with her and that she didn't have to take care of her ill mother or her siblings or whatever. It was not her responsibility. Tell her, oh. And sometimes they understand. They're like, all right, okay. Because they probably thought back then, and this is just again another example, maybe they thought that they had all the responsibility to survive, the best decision they could make. And then when you rewrite that story and you get to that really positive state, then yeah, like I said before, then you visualize it every day, you step into that energy, the colors, the positive emotions, the positive beliefs, you visualize it, that's the signal you send out to the universe, and that's when magic happens. That's when really magic happens, and when deep transformation happens. And I know a lot of people don't want to do this work because it's not easy. I wouldn't say it's not pleasant, because I find it quite like a big relief, and and most people I work with, yeah, there might be a bit of crying, you get emotional when you're talking to a little you, yeah, very often that happens, but at the same time it's like, oh, big weight got lifted off my shoulders, there's always that sense of relief. So yeah, it's not easy, but it doesn't need to be painful. And I think a lot of people are really scared of opening the Pandora box, and they don't want to do they don't want to do the deep inner work, and they either focused on the forward-looking goal setting. I don't want to go back there. What happened to me in the past is not relevant. What happened to you in the past is who you are today. So it's 100% relevant to your behaviors, your patterns. It doesn't mean that you're a slave. It doesn't mean that you can't change it. You can, and you should. But it's completely relevant. So you can say, oh, no, I'm not going to look at it because it has nothing to do with me today. Okay. And then there is also the other variant of becoming kind of caught up in very fancy and sophisticated healing techniques and spiritual bypassing and all this. Again, not facing the work, not doing the work. But it brings really, 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 really deep transformation. And then, yeah, anything you want to manifest, the law of attraction, affirmations, meditation, vision boards, like all the stuff is really cool. It's really, really useful. It's really, really useful. But if you don't do the reprogramming work, there's always going to be a clash. I'm going to catch up with the comments. Verónica saying, I find it hard to activate the nurturing inner parent. Oh, Jay saying, then be a friend, not a parent. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. That's a really great insight. Yeah, that's a really great insight, Jay. I always say, think about, and if you have kids, this is easier to do, but someone you really, really, really love, your partner, kids, your siblings, your pet, someone loyal, that hasn't given you any problem, someone you can trust, and how will you treat them? If they came to you one day saying, oh, I feel so bad today, I feel so low, I feel like crap, I'm a mess, I'm a complete failure, how will you treat them? I'm sure you're going to say, oh, get over it, put yourself together. Right now, you would listen with compassion and kindness. So maybe think about that and step into that energy, and then apply it to yourself. But yeah, that can be. It could be. It could be many reasons. It could be that if you haven't experienced what a nurturing parent was, that's going to be difficult. If the inner critic is very strong and very loud, then the nurturing parent or the nurturing, loving, compassionate part of you can be dormant. So maybe there's work to do with the inner critic or judgmental or part of you before the other one can take over a bit of space and give it a bit of voice. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, try to be a big sister. As I'm not a mum. Yeah, I'm not a mum either. So yeah, big sister could work. Since I'm not a big sister either. Yeah, maybe you resonate with it more. You resonate with it more. It's not about it's about stepping into that energy. It's something that triggers or that helps you connect with that energy, whatever role you want to think of. I can do it for others, harder for myself. Yeah, the course on self-love would really, really help you, or the step into your power with confidence and joy, as well, because there might be some belief there around, not prioritizing your needs or having to please everyone else. Everyone else is more important than me. So yeah, try to tap on that. I can be kind, I can be a nurturing parent for others, but it's really hard for me. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't know why, but I can do it for others, but not for me. And when you start tapping on that, you might find there's something else, another thought. It's like tuning into something that unfolds. Normally, as we're tapping, the first round rarely clears whatever you want to release, and you feel like 100% better already. Actually, sometimes you might feel, it's not that you might feel worse, but you might become more intense, or something else might come up, and it's great because that's like you're tuning into something, you're opening a Pandora box. So maybe try tapping and reflecting on that. Or how the self-love course starts is visualizing yourself, loving yourself, accepting yourself, and tuning into the body to see the reaction, to see the resistance. So you might want to try that. Eliane said, I've done my fair share of therapy, which on the long run have found that it didn't really help me much. Is there another way to deal with not feeling worthy of great change? Not feeling worthy of great change, for instance. Yeah, the thing about therapy is that you engage only with the conscious mind. And the conscious mind, if this is an iceberg, the conscious mind is this small tip here. So yeah, you can spend years in therapy, and from here you look down and you're like, yeah, I have all these problems, and mom did this to me, and my dad did this to me, and when I was at school, and divorce, and blah blah blah. But you're just looking at this and you become an expert at your problems, and you can rationalize everything. Yeah, that's why I'm lacking confidence, because my parents got divorced, so so I don't feel safe now, and there were a lot of arguments, so yeah, there's a lot of drama, and you can rationalize all that and where it comes from. But the key, like, to really achieve the transformation is deep dive into the water and work with what's underneath. And that's what therapy doesn't do. It helps with becoming aware. It helps sometimes talking about it can help process it and integrate it. There is a lot of value on it. When I started my own personal journey, when I was training in my counseling master's degree, and I had to do counseling for myself, and it was really useful. It really changed my life. But I felt that at some point I was hitting a ceiling. Like there was not much more that I could achieve with that. And that's why when you do the work, from an energetic point of view, with tapping, with other energy healing modalities, and with working with the subconscious mind, like we said, with those visualizations, that rewriting story, that's where the magic happens. So for example, a belief that sounds like you're not worthy of great change comes from somewhere. At some point in your life, or in another life, at some point in the field, in one of your lifetimes, someone or a part of you decided that you were not worthy of great change. And that served the purpose. And maybe the purpose was, don't get your expectations too high because you're going to be let down. Don't think too big because you failed before and it hurt. And we don't want to go through that again. So it could be many different reasons why that belief is lingering there. So what we invite you to do, saying, yeah, Loretta's saying, didn't think of tap. Yeah, tap on everything and anything. It's wonderful. Yeah, it's good to clear, but it's also good to get deeper into the root of whatever is coming up. So yeah, and I would say the same. Tap on it, see what comes up. Sometimes what happens is that as soon as we start tapping, we feel emotional, or a lot of yawning. And very often more ideas might come up, or it might bring up the memory or something, or doing some deeper work with the subconscious mind. And my courses, if you take my courses here, they will help you with that. And I have lots of other resources that I can send you. And this applies to everyone. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat, as we're going to be wrapping up soon. But also feel free to drop me a message or check my profile on Inside Timer. My website is there, veronica-moreno.com. And drop me a message and let me know if you're facing any particular challenges, because I'm always happy to point you to courses or resources that I have recorded already. Jay saying, when is the next tapping session? Oh, Lorette, thank you so much. Oh, then you're a lovely teacher. Thank you so much for bringing your beautiful energy here. It's much appreciated. My heart is melting. Jay, I have bad news for you, my love, because I'm going to be away for the next couple of weeks. Actually, I'm going to be doing a lot of tapping because I'm doing an advanced training next week. So I'm going to be away for a couple of weeks. And then the week after, I'm going to be in Spain, trying to get a bit of sunshine. So I will be doing some sessions. I will be doing a bit of work, but I'm so sorry, but I'll be back. I promise I'll be back. I think the next one is scheduled. When is that for? The 13th of June, I think is, I think I'm coming back on the 11th. So that's a Thursday evening. So same time as this one, in 3 weeks on the 13th when I'm back. So sorry guys, for abandoning you, but I need a break, a couple of weeks to rest and catch some sunshine. So so I won't be doing live sessions, but you have my videos and recorded tracks, that you can do in the meantime, for sure. And like I said, drop me a message, because I'm always happy to send you resources. I'm going to be working, I'm going to be responsive. It's just that I won't be doing the live sessions, but I will definitely be back. And then after that, the Monday ones will probably come back. Normally I do a Monday tapping one, and Thursdays a longer workshop or session like that. Lindsay, thank you. I will look at your courses, and thank you for being available for info. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm always happy to hear from you. I love to hear from you guys. And sometimes after a session, I check I go on Inside Timer on the app, and I'm sure a lot of people message me to ask questions. I'm like, no one did. Why? Please do. I love to hear from you. Loretta saying, can't wait. Have a great time. Thank you, my love. I'm really looking forward to it. And then I will be back and full on. So guys, we've been here for more than an hour, but it always feels short. I have to say, I love your presence. I love your questions and your insights, because you guys make these sessions so rich with your questions, with sharing your sharings about your journey, your insights. Thank you, Leanne, for your generous donation. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. They're much appreciated. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your beautiful energy here. You are brave for doing this work, because I know it's not easy. I know this inner work is not easy, and not a lot of people want to do it. So you guys are really brave, and I really admire and love every single one of you. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, thank you. I'll definitely have fun. I will definitely have some fun. And because I'm going to be doing even more training next week, I might bring some new deeper insights on tapping. So I might bring something new to the sessions. And also soon I'm going to start, because I'm about to qualify as a breathwork coach. So soon I'm going to be bringing also some breathing sessions, because I have been experienced the last few months that it can be, wow, like really, really powerful. I have lots of different breathing techniques that I can't wait to share with you. But yeah, I will plan that when I'm back from my trip. Thank you, Jennifer, for your generous donation. Thank you so much, guys. You're being so loving and generous today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My heart is literally melting. Honestly, I feel so blessed to be part of this community and to receive your kindness and your love. So yeah, makes my heart sing. You guys make my heart sing. Okay, my loves, so I'm gonna wrap up now. Thank you again for being here. If you were here from the beginning listening to me, thank you so much. You made it all the way to the end. And yeah, please stay in touch and let me know if you have any questions, or I'm always open to hearing from you. Sending much love and light. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Bye-bye.